What if your reflection knew something you didn't? What if the parts of your past you buried refused to stay silent? And what if the person you lost never really left? They just waited in the quiet, in the glass, in the truth, for you to finally look back. Jordan was brushing his teeth when it happened. Nothing unusual, nothing out of place. Just him, the bathroom mirror, and the hum of the old apartment's pipes. Then it blinked. Not him, the reflection. He froze, foam still on his lips, toothbrush mid-stroke. It had blinked. First. And not some slow, natural blink either. It was deliberate, timed, staring straight back at him. His body stiffened. I'm tired. I'm seeing things. He turned his head slightly. So did the reflection. He raised his left hand. So did it. Everything synced, as it should. He waited. 1 second. 2. Then, the reflection smiled. Jordan did not. His toothbrush clattered into the sink. 10 minutes later, he was pacing the living room, heart racing. The lights were all on. Every mirror covered. The bathroom, the one in the hallway, even the glass frame over the dusty photo of him and his brother. He grabbed his phone, called his cousin Dre voicemail. Yo, it's Jordan. I need to ask you something. Something weird. Do you remember that thing when we were kids about the mirror in Grandma's house? His voice cracked. You said you saw Marcus in it after he died. He hesitated, swallowed hard. Call me back, man, please. He hung up. Silence again. And yet, even with every mirror covered, he could still feel it. That cold, crawling sensation just beneath his skin. Like he was being watched. Like something had remembered him and was waiting to be remembered back. Jordan didn't sleep that night. He tried. Turned on old YouTube playlists, threw the covers over his head, even prayed, though he hadn't done that in years. But nothing silenced the echo of that smile. The reflection, his reflection, had smiled first. And that smile, it was the same crooked grin his twin brother Marcus used to give him when they were kids. Marcus had died 12 years ago, drowned in Lake Lanier during a 4th of July trip. Jordan had been there. He saw it happen. Or he thought he had. The next day he skipped work and pulled down a box from his closet. Inside were old photos, school certificates, and a worn-out comic book they used to draw together. The Mirror Brothers. He stared at one photo. Marcus, smiling, head tilted slightly left, just like the mirror had done. This can't be real. But something deep in Jordan's gut whispered. It is. That night he stood in front of the mirror again. He had removed the blanket, braced himself. He needed to know. His face stared back, calm, steady. He raised his right hand. So did the reflection. He blinked. So did it. He frowned. It copied. Then Jordan whispered, Marcus? Nothing. If that's you, show me. The reflection didn't move. Then it tilted its head slightly, to the left, exactly like the photo. Jordan stumbled backward, his breath caught in his throat. Number, you're dead. You're not. This isn't real. But it was, because in the reflection's eyes, in the exact same face he saw every day, there was something behind it, something trying to speak. He backed out of the bathroom, slammed the door shut, and sat on the floor for hours. His phone buzzed. A voicemail. From Dr. A.O. Jordan, I got your message. Man, I never told you this, but yeah, I did see Marcus after the funeral, in the mirror. It was 1 second. I thought I imagined it. But bro, you remember how y'all used to draw those comic books, where the dead twin comes back through mirrors to warn the living one? You don't think... Click. Jordan dropped the phone. He remembered that story. He remembered how it ended. And he remembered what Marcus had always said when they finished drawing. If I ever leave, I'll find a way back. The next time it happened, Jordan didn't run. He stood in front of the mirror like he was staring into someone else's window. The bathroom was silent. His chest rose and fell, but his heart was pounding so loud it echoed in his ears. His reflection stared back, until it didn't. It blinked first again, but this time, it looked afraid. Not at Jordan, at something behind him. Jordan spun around. Nothing. When he turned back, the mirror was normal again. But for a second, just a second, he had seen Marcus's face, not his own. A flicker. Faint, but there. He needed answers. That night, he pulled out the old comic book from the closet, The Mirror Brothers, a project they never finished as kids. He flipped to the last page Marcus had drawn before he died. It showed one twin banging on a mirror from inside, eyes wide, hand outstretched, screaming at the other one, "He's not who you think he is!" Jordan stared at the drawing. Cold sweat formed on his back. What had they been trying to say? He looked closer. Tiny handwriting in the corner. "If you're reading this, stay away from Uncle T." Jordan sat back, stunned. Uncle Terrence. The man who raised them after their mom died. The man who fed them, clothed them, paid for their school uniforms. But also the man Marcus never liked. The man who Marcus stopped speaking to 2 months before he died. Jordan had always thought it was teen angst. He never asked. Now, the mirror was trying to finish the sentence. The next day, Jordan went to visit Uncle Terrence. The man smiled like always. Too wide, too perfect. Offered him a beer. Jordan declined. "I was going through our old comic book last night." "Oh yeah?" Terrence said, plopping into the armchair. "Y'all used to draw all kinds of weird stuff." "Yeah," Jordan replied slowly. "There was something in it. A message from Marcus." Terrence's smile faltered. "Message?" "Yeah. He said to stay away from you." Silence. The TV hummed in the background. A newscaster's voice, distant. Then Terrence chuckled. "That's cute. You boys always had wild imaginations." Jordan's eyes narrowed. Terrence took a long sip from his bottle, but his hand shook just slightly. That was all Jordan needed to see. That night, the mirror showed him something different. A flash, not a reflection, a memory. Jordan saw Marcus crying in the garage, a younger Terrence yelling, a raised hand, a shadow. Then it vanished. Jordan fell to his knees, gasping. He had never known. He had never asked. And Marcus had tried to tell him, through stories, through silence, and now through mirrors. Jordan didn't sleep. Again. The memory from the mirror kept playing in his mind. Marcus crying, the yelling, the hand raised. He had always told himself Terrence was just strict, just rough around the edges. But deep down, Jordan knew. He had always known, and he had let it stay buried. But Marcus didn't. Even in death, he came back to finish the truth. The next morning, Jordan returned to Terrence's house, this time with the comic book in hand. The old man opened the door wearing the same loose t-shirt, same easy smile. But Jordan didn't smile back. "We need to talk," he said. They sat across from each other in that too-quiet living room. Jordan opened the comic book, flipped to the page with the warning, and placed it on the table. Terrence stared at it. "What's this supposed to be?" "You know what it is," Jordan replied. "You hurt Marcus, over and over, and he tried to tell me, but I was a kid. I didn't want to believe you were anything but what I needed." Terrence leaned back in his chair. For a second, he didn't speak. Then he laughed once, dry and sharp. "Kids exaggerate. He was always soft. You know that?" Jordan's hands clenched. "He was scared of you." Terrence's voice grew colder. "He talked too much. Got into trouble. Your mom was gone. I did the best I could." "You beat him." A pause, then. "He needed discipline." Jordan stood up. "That wasn't discipline. That was abuse. And it killed him. Not the lake. You. You pushed him emotionally to the edge and made him feel like nothing." The old man's face hardened. "You can't prove anything." Jordan looked down at the drawing, the mirrored twin screaming in silence. "I don't need to. I just needed to remember the truth." He turned and walked out the door. That night, Jordan stood in front of the mirror one last time. His hands trembled, but his heart was steady. The reflection stared back. He raised his hand. It matched. He blinked. It blinked. Then slowly. The reflection smiled again, but this time so did Jordan. Not out of fear, but relief. Because behind the reflection's eyes, Marcus smiled too. And then faded. The mirror was just a mirror again. Jordan didn't talk much about what happened, but he did start drawing again. not comics, portraits. And in each one, hidden in a window, or behind a shadow or caught in glass, was Marcus, smiling, watching, reminding him, truth always finds its way back, even if it has to come through a mirror. What if your reflection knew something you didn't? What if the parts of your past you buried refused to stay silent? And what if the person you lost never really left? They just waited, in the quiet, in the glass, in the truth, for you to finally look back.